हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण।
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण everyone. So today is 22nd of December. It is Friday. Margasesha Masa or Keshava Masa, Sukla Paksham, Ekadasi Tithi. So today is Mokshada Ekadasi. So today is also the day when the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra at the place now known as Jyotishta Tirtha. So anyone who gives a Bhagavad Gita away to a deserving person on this day is bestowed profuse blessings by the Sri Krishna Bhagavan. So there is a pastime about the Moksha Ekadasi. So this is from the Brahmanda Purana. So just a few lines about it. So Yudhishthira Maharaj said, O Vishnu, master of all, O delight of the three worlds, O Lord of the entire universe, O creator of the world, O oldest personality, O best of all beings, I offer my most respectful obeisances unto you, O Lord of lords. For the benefit of all the living entities, kindly answer some questions that I have. What is the name of the Ekadasi that occurs during the light fortnight of the month of Margasesha and removes all sins? How does one observe it properly? And which deity is worshipped on that holiest of days? O my Lord, please explain this to me in full. Lord Sri Krishna replied, O dear Yudhishthira, your inquiry is very auspicious in itself and will bring you fame. Just as I previously explained to you about the dearest Utpanna Mahadvadasi, which occurs during the part of the month of Margasesha, dark part of the month of Margasesha, which is the day when Ekadasi Devi appeared from my body to kill the demon Mura, and which benefits everything animate and inanimate in the three worlds. So I shall now relate to you regarding the Ekadasi that occurs during the light part of the month of Margasesha. This Ekadasi is famous as Mokshada Ekadasi because it purifies the faithful devotees of all sinful reactions and bestows liberation upon him. The worshipable deity of this all auspicious day is Lord Damodara. With full attention, one should worship him with incense, a ghee lamp, fragrant flowers, and tulsi manjaris and buds. O best of saintly kings, please listen as I narrate to you the ancient auspicious history of the wonderful Ekadasi. Simply by hearing this history, one can attain the merit earned by the performing a horse sacrifice. By the influence of this merit, one's forefathers, mothers, sons, and other relatives who have gone to hell can turn around and go to the heavenly kingdom. For this reason alone, O king, you should listen with rapt attention to this narration. Therefore, there once a beautiful city named Champaka Nagar, which was decorated with devoted Vaishnavas. There, the best of saintly kings, Maharaja Vaikanasa, ruled over his subjects as if they were his very own dear sons and daughters. The Brahmins in that capital city were all experts in four kinds of Vedic knowledge. The king, while ruling properly, had a dream one night in which his father was seen to be suffering the pangs of hellish torture in one of the hellish planets ruled over by the Yamaraj. The king was overwhelmed with compassion for his father and shed tears. The next morning, Maharaja Vaikanasa described what he had seen in his dream to his council of twice born learned Brahmins. O Brahmanas, the king addressed them. In a dream last night, I saw my father suffering on a hellish planet. He was crying out in anguish, O son, please deliver me from this torment of this hellish condition. Now I have no peace in my mind, and even this beautiful kingdom has become unbearable to me. Not even my horses, elephants, and chariots, my vast wealth in my treasury that formerly brought so much pleasure, gives me no pleasure at all. Everything, O best of the Brahmins, even my own wife and sons, have become a source of unhappiness since I beheld my father suffering the tortures of that hellish condition. So, where can I go and what can I do, O Brahmins, to alleviate this misery? My body is burning with fear and sorrow. Please tell me what kind of charity, what mode of fasting, what austerity, or what deep meditation, and in service upon which deity I may have to perform to deliver my father from that agony and bestow upon liberation upon my forefathers. O best among the Brahmins, what is the use of one's being a powerful son if one's father must suffer on a hellish planet? Truly, such a son's life is utterly useless to him and to his forefathers. The twice born Brahmins replied, O king, in the mountainous forest not far from here is the ashram where the great saint Parvata Muni resides. Please go to him, for he is Trikala Jnani. He knows the past, present, and the future of everything, and can surely help you in your gaining relief from your misery. Upon hearing this advice, the distressed king immediately set out on a journey to the ashram of the famous sage Parvata Muni. The ashram was indeed very big and housed many learned sages expert in chanting the sacred hymns of the four Vedas, Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, and Atharva Veda. Approaching the holy ashram, the king beheld Parvata Muni seated among the assembly of sages, adorned with hundreds of tilakas from all the authorized sampradayas, like another Brahma or Vyasa. Maharaja Vaikanasa offered his humble obeisances to the Muni, bowing his head and then prostrating his entire body before him. After the king had seated himself among the assembly, Parvatamuni asked him about the welfare of the seven limbs of his extensive kingdom, his ministers, his treasury, his military forces, his allies, the Brahmins, the sacrificial offerings performed, and the needs of his subjects. The Muni also asked him if his kingdom was free of troubles and whether everyone was peaceful, happy, and satisfied. To these inquiries, the king replied, By your mercy, O glorious and great sage, all seven limbs of my kingdom are doing very well. Yet there is a problem that has recently arisen, and to solve it, I have come to you, O Brahmana, for your expert help and guidance. Then Parvatamuni, the best of all sages, closed his eyes and meditated on the king's past, present, and future. After a few moments, he opened his eyes and said, Your father is suffering the results of committing a great sin, and I have discovered what it is. In his previous life, he quarreled with his wife and forcefully enjoyed her sexually during her menstrual period. She tried to protest and resist his advances and even yelled out, Someone please save me. Please, O husband, do not interrupt my monthly period in this way. Still, he did not stop or leave her alone. It is on account of this grievous sin that your father now has fallen into such a hellish condition of suffering. King Vaikanasa then said, O greatest among sages, by what process of fasting or charity may I liberate my dear father from such a condition? Please tell me how can I relieve and remove the burden of his sinful reactions, which are great obstacle to his progress toward ultimate release, salvation, or liberation, going back to home Godhead. Parvati replied, During the light fortnight of the month of Margasisha, there occurs Ekadashi called Mokshada. If you observe this sacred Ekadashi strictly with full fast and give uh, suf- directly to your suffering father the merit you thus attain or obtain, he will be freed from his pain and instantly liberated. Hearing this, Maharaja Vaikanasa profusely thanked the great sage and then returned to his palace to perform his vrata. O Yudhishthira, when the light part of the month Margasisha at last arrived, Maharaja Vaikanasa faithfully waited for the Ekadasi Tithi to arrive. He then perfectly and with full faith observed the Ekadasi fast with his wife, children, and other relatives. He dutifully gave the merit from this fast to his father, and as the maid the offering, the beautiful flower petals showered down from the devas who proceed from the behind the clouds in the sky, who peered out from the behind the clouds in the sky. The king's father was then praised by the messengers of the demigods and escorted to the celestial region. As he passed his son, he traversed the lower to middle to higher planets. The father said to the king, "My dear son, all auspicious unto you." At last he reached the heavenly realm from where he can again with his newly acquired merit perform devotional service to Krishna or Vishnu, and in due course return back to home, back to Godhead. O son of Pandu, whoever strictly observes the sacred Mokshada Ekadasi, following the established rules and regulations, achieves full and perfect liberation after death. There is no better fasting day than this Ekadasi of the light fortnight of the month of Margasisha, O Yudhishthira, or it is a crystal clear and sinless day. Whoever faithfully observes this Ekadasi fast, which is like a Chintamani, who obtains special merit that is very hard to calculate. For this day can elevate one from hellish life to the heavenly planets, and for one who observes Ekadasi for his own spiritual benefit, this elevates one to back to Godhead, never return to this material world. Thus, in the narration of the glorious of Margasisha Sukla Ekadasi or Mokshada Ekadasi from the Brahmanda Purana. So that is from events perspective. So we shall quickly enter into Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shemik Rishi is speaking to his son Shringi due to the as Shringi has cursed the king to die with the snake bite within 7 days, and then later on Semikrish understood from his son everything what has happened. Then he is saying the reasons. So he is taking the responsibility of those sinful activity. So tadadyahanaha papam upaiti ananvayam यन्नस्तनादस्य वसोः विलुम्पकात् परस्परं घ्नन्ति सपन्ति वृञ्जते पशून् स्त्रियो अर्धां पुरुधस्य वो जनाः. So once the monarchy is ruined, then there will be so much of plundering of the people, mass of the people. So there will rogues and thieves, they will come together into the administrative rulers and they will plunder all the innocent people. And also they kill each other and they harm each other and they steal the animals, women, and the money from the so many people. They're Purudasyivaha. They're the plunderers. They do it in a great extent. So likewise, Shemik Rishi is saying, and he is taking the responsibility of that but great sin happened towards the Parikshit Maharaj. So further, the Shemik Rishi is saying what happens after that. So due to that, all this dharma, Arya dharma, it will be declined. Arya dharma will be gradually, systematically vanquished. And Varnashrama dharma, which is so perfect and which is the which is perfect in a good manner according to the Vedic injunctions, it will be systematically vanquished. Because of that, there is a people, they will be interested in the Ardha, Kama, so completely in the economic development and fully absorbed in the sense gratification like a cats and dogs, and they will fall down and the unwanted population will spread. So these are the reasons that Shemika Rishi is giving to Shringi. So we are in the first canto, chapter 18, verse number 45. तदा आर्यधर्मः प्रपील्यते नृणां वर्णाश्रमाचारयुतः त्रयीमयः ततो अर्धकाम अभिनिवेशितात्मानं शुनां कपीनाम् इव वर्णसङ्करः tada arya dharmaha. So this is tada at that time arya dharmaha. What is arya dharma? The progressive civilization, the engagement of engaging the people in the progressive civilization, elevating the consciousness. It is not recommended to stay one always in the Sudra caste itself. He will be elevated to the Brahmana and then further liberation. So it is the consciousness, elevation of the consciousness. That is Arya Dharma. Tada Arya Dharma Previliyate Nunam. Previliyate is systematically vanquished in the human society. Previliyate Nunam among the humankind. Tada Arya Dharma Previliyate Nunam Varnashramaachara Yutah Trimayaha. This is Varnashrama Achara Yutah. So these four orders of the society, Varnashrama, these orders of the society, Acharitaha Trimayaha. They are the composed in very good manner and in terms of the Vedic civilization. Varnashrama Acharitaha Trimayaha. And Tata. So thereafter, Ardhakama Abhiniveshitatmanam. Economic development and full sense gratification. Ardhakama Abhiniveshitatmanam. They are completely absorbed people. Kama Kama Abhiniveshitatmanam. It is Abhiniveshita is the complete absorption in the sense gratification. Just like a Sunam Kapinam Iva Varna Sankaraha. Shunam is the dogs. Kapinam is the monkeys. Dogs like dogs and monkeys. Varna Sankaraha, they beget the unwanted population. That is how once these monarchies fall down, systematically vanquished due to all these things, just because of there is no monarchy. So Nastanadasya, this is the once the monarchy is vanquished, all these things happens. Tada Arya Dharmaha Praviliyate Nunam Varnashramaacharayitah Trimayah Tato Ardhakama Abhiniveshitatmanam Shunam Kapinam Iva Varna Sankaraha. So translation for this verse is, at that time, the people in general will fall systematically from the path of progressive civilization in respect to the qualitative engagements of the castes and the orders of society and the Vedic injunctions. Thus, they will be more attracted to economic development for sense gratification. And as a result, there will be unwanted population on the level of dogs and monkeys. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is foretold herein that in the absence of monarchical regime, the general mass of people will be an unwanted population like dogs and monkeys. As the monkeys are too sexually inclined and dogs are shameless in sexual intercourse, the general mass of population born of illegitimate connection will systematically go astray from the Vedic way of good manners and the qualitative engagements in the castes and orders of life. The Vedic way of life is the progressive march of the civilization of the Aryans. The Aryans are progressive in Vedic civilization. The Vedic civilization's destination is to go back to Godhead, back home, where there is no birth, no death, no old age, and no disease. The Vedas direct everyone not to remain in the darkness of the material world, but to go towards the light of the spiritual kingdom far beyond the material sky. The qualitative caste system and the orders of life are scientifically planned by the Lord and his representatives, the great rishis. The perfect way of life gives all sorts of instruction in things both material and spiritual. The Vedic way of life does not allow any man to be like the monkeys and dogs, a degraded civilization of sense gratification and economic development is the byproduct of a godless or kingless government of the people, by the people, and for the people. The people should not, therefore, begrudge the poor administrations they themselves elect. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So in this purport, Prabhupada is mentioning that so the general mass of people will be an unwanted population like dogs and monkeys because there is a absence of monarchical regime and they are just fall into uh, here dogs they are shameless monkeys they're too much in the inclined to for the sex to so monkeys are too sexually inclined dogs are shameless in sexual intercourse so because of that the general mass of people in the illegitimate connection and they are the varna sankaraha and they will deviate from the Vedic way of good manners and qualitative engagements. Very beautifully said here. And all this, the scriptures and Vedic and all this process, the Manus and the great sages and Vyasadeva and everyone, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, by himself and through his incarnations, he has given immense Vedic injunctions. So many instructions to the humankind. For what? Just for ourselves to come back to God, come back to home, back to Godhead, leave this material world for that purpose. So many things, arrangements, but what are we taking pleasure from? This तावद् भयं द्रविणतेह सुहृन्निमित्तं शोकः स्पृहा परिभवो विपुलश्च लोभः तावन्ममेति असदवग्रह आट्यमूलं यावन्नतेङ्ग्रिम् अभयं प्रवणीतलोकः दैवेन ते हतधियो भवतः प्रसङ्गात् सर्व अशुभवोपशमनाद् विमुखेन्द्रियाये कुर्वन्ति कामसुखलेशलवायधेन लोभाविभूत मनसो अकुशलानि शश्वत् just for a kurvanti kama leshalavayadina a tiny bit of happiness they would put the entire life as a stake everything will be inauspicious lobhavibhuta manso akushalani shashwat they engage the mind akushalani shashwat permanently they will keep so that is the just for what it is a type few moments of pleasure entire life will be wasted they will be deviated from the Vedic civilization. So Vedic civilization means all this, everything is or systematically, regulatedly, one will have all things. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, everything. That is the Varnashrama Dharma. So here, Prabhupada at the end, Prabhupada is mentioning, people should not therefore begrudge the poor administrations they themselves select. So here they sometimes they elect one person and the same people they reject the same person. Same people reject the same person because the dependency on the humankind. Human this is human in the sense who are not trained in the Vedic civilization. And they're all always with the four defects. Fall into the illusion, make mistakes, tend to cheat, imperfect senses. So that is Prabhupada is explaining. So we should not blame or point out towards the politicians. Okay, so that is from this Srimad Bhagavatam. So likewise, Shamik Rishi is telling what is happening to the civilization. So because of the Nashtanadasya, because of loss of the monarchical system. तद आदिधर्मः प्रविलीयते नृणां वर्णाश्रमाचारयुतः त्रयीमयः ततो अर्धकाम अभिनिवेशितात्मानं शुनां कपीनाम् इव वर्णसङ्करः just like cats and dogs they will be completely absorbed in the economic development and sense gratification and beget varnasankaraha that is from Srimad Bhagavatam. We shall quickly enter into Srila Prabhupada's daily letter. So today it is related to Advaita, November 19th, 1969, London. Can I request, it is a small letter only. Can I request any devotees to read this letter?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, shall I read?
Yes, Mataji, please.
My dear Advaita, please accept my blessing. I thank you very much for your letter dated November 17, 1969, with 2 enclosures of samples. So far, so far as the paper for colored pictures, £80, £80, and dust jacket, £100. I think it is quite suitable. But so far as the papers for the inside of the book, the paper which you have indicated, £50, is not suitable. It must be either 60 or £70. If £70 is too costly, then £60 is tolerable. But the paper must be white, just like seven, uh, seven, just like TLC, I beg your pardon. The samples you have sent are not nice, are not so nice, a white color. So far as the other estimates, I think they are all right. The total expenditure submitted by you, $7,939, or say $8,000, is acceptable. The size, as you have mentioned, 6¾ by 9½ is also all right. And the pictures, 48 in number, and pages 352 is all right. The quality of binding, getting up, texture, etc. is like TLC. So you can arrange for its printing immediately. I am very sorry to learn that our press is lying idle, and your remark in this connection that we have purchased the before the horse is appropriate. I have immediately asked Aravinda from Los Angeles to go there for doing lay work. I have asked also Pradumna why the composition work is going so slowly. I have received one letter from Satsvarupa also in this connection. So all the composition and layout work must now be centralized in the press. Far editing already. Satsvarupa is there, and Hayagriva will send these editorial matters without delay. The actual difficulty is composing and layout. Satsvarupa informs me that there is a girl, Balika Dasi, who is a good typist, and Satsvarupa also agrees to purchase another machine. So if possible, immediately purchase this composing machine and begin the composing work for Krishna. Jayadvaita is also there, and Aravinda will help in layout work. So far as the press lying idle, I would advise you to immediately print the paperwork edition immediately. And I do not know why this program was cancelled. After this is done, you can reprint the first volume of Srimad Bhagavatam because there is a need for more copies of this volume. So I do not know why the press is sitting idly and why proposal for printing TLC in soft cover edition is put aside. Also, you mentioned that there is some lack of management, but I do not know why this should be, since Brahmananda, yourself, and others are there. Please inform me for the cost for printing TLC. I hope this will meet you in good health. Your ever well wisher, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Mataji. Any takeaway points, Mataji, from this?
Yeah, so obviously, Srila Prabhupada is very specific about how he wants his books printed, the size, the color of the paper, the quality of the paper, um, uh, and I was trying to think what TLC stands for, but I can't.
Teachings of Lord Chaitanya.
Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, perfect. Yeah. Okay, so he's giving examples. Again, this is very good management. He's being specific. So yeah, so in terms of management, he's very, very specific about how he wants things, and he's very precise, and he's a perfectionist. And then he doesn't like the idea of uh, the machines lying idle. And then the connection, purchase the cart before the horse is appropriate. So so even before Srila Prabhupada knew this was going to be a success, all the things, all the background equipment, all the processes were put into place before there was that much of a demand. And then obviously we've seen that he had great foresight, because he put something in place and then it fruitified and it did materialize into something on a very huge scale. So yeah, I think this is probably more initial days. And he certainly doesn't like anyone sitting idle. And then again, more managerial. So obviously he wanted his Canto 1 printed more because he felt there was a need for it. And also the fact that I think again here, this lack of management, he's probably sensing that there should be good management, and unfortunately and sadly there isn't. So I think he's just talking about that there. So yeah, I think this is like Srila Prabhupada in his role as the leader of the society, but also where he's macro managing and he's giving a lot of empowerment to his staff, he's still micromanaging the smaller details, especially in relation to Krishna's books, and in terms of he never loses sight of his goal, which is to propagate Krishna consciousness, and all the other things are things that are being put into place to make sure that that overall thing works. And I think he wants, like when he's talking about this girl who's a good typist, and he wants that he has the best, he's putting his wheels in motion here. That's how I see it, that he wants committed people, he wants people that are responsible. Yeah, that's what I understand from it.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. You kindly explained. Yeah, any other comments, dear devotees? Okay, so from this one, so the quality never be compromised because it needs to be passed to a number of generations, and also good engagement of the devotees, not to stay idle, and also utilize the resources perfectly. So those are the takeaway points from these points. And as soon as possible, we need to print Srimad Bhagavatam, that is Prabhupada instruction. And then now also Prabhupada's disciples and their disciples, they're all engaging in printing out books, composing books, and spreading in the human society. That is very wonderful engagement. Okay, so that is my takeaway points from this letter. And from the announcements point of view, so today evening at 5 p.m. Bhagavad Gita recitations by all of our devotees, starting at early 5 p.m. so that devotees would have engagement later on. Other sanghas like mentorship and other things are there. So that's all from announcements side from me today. And tomorrow we have got tomorrow morning again resume all our activities, regular Bhagavatam and Krishna, and then evening at 7 p.m. regular Bhagavad Gita Sangha. That's all announcement side from my side. And dear devotees, if you have got any other updates or you wanted to share anything or any other updates from the recitation perspective, kindly share. Hare Krishna. Okay, hope everyone is happy with all these current engagements and arrangements. Thank you so much. So in that case, we shall conclude and continue with further japa. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. शिल प्रभुपाद की जय. Have a Krishna conscious day, everyone.
Hare Krishna.
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास